y'all? It's your girl Lish, and you are back at the I'll Just Let Myself In podcast. I'm super hyped because I'm here in New York City. I'm home, and I decided to film just a few episodes with some people who mean a lot to me. And so my guest today is in large part one of the main influences on how I started podcasting and kind of seeing myself in this space. In this very room, actually, I was on her podcast a couple years ago and really got, I guess, a vision for myself doing podcasting. She helped me, encouraged me, gave me a whole list of things to think about and do when I wanted to begin my podcasting journey. And that is just indicative of her spirit. Someone who wants everybody to win. I won't hold it up any longer. Without further ado, in the building today, we got none other than Mo Lou. Give it up, everybody. Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Mo is a podcaster herself, also a licensed therapist. Would that be correct?
Yes. So I guess just to be more technical.
Yeah, girl. Give the numbers and the degrees and the credentials.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm a mental health counselor with a limited permit right now.
Okay.
So basically what that means, that's the pre-licensure.
Okay.
So this summer I'll actually be at the end of the summer I'll be taking my licensure exam to be officially licensed. But yeah, I'm a mental health counselor. I see clients, I take clients.
Yeah.
But yeah, that always comes up where people are like, "Oh yeah, she's licensed," and I'm like, "Let me just be clear. Like it's like we call it like just limited permit.
That's a technicality.
Yes. But yes, I have a master's in mental health counseling.
Period.
So I'm definitely like knowledgeable. I know what I'm talking about. If anybody
From the New York University.
Oh, period. From NYU.
Yes.
New York University for sure. The program is great there. So if anybody ever was interested in like the mental health counseling, field or program, I would recommend NYU for sure.
Nice. And Mo has her own podcast called Your Mental Matters.
Yeah.
Where she really talks about mental health and the fact that our mental health matters, right?
Yes.
And so I have been fortunate to be a guest on your podcast twice.
Yeah.
Once virtual during the Panini and once in person. Still kind of during the pandemic, but a little bit further along. And like I said in the intro, when I was just thinking about podcasting before I had a plan in place, I was like, I need to talk to Mo. And we set up a call and we spoke and you gave me so much to think about, which really informed the way I went about setting up my whole podcast experience. So if you love this podcast, this is a person you need to thank. And you could thank her by following her, by watching her podcast, by subscribing, because truly you did guide me a lot in this podcasting field. So speaking of guidance, I have known Mo since she was
for sure.
A teenager, a little girl. And you've always had that beautiful smile, a bubbly spirit, curious, adventurous.
For sure.
A little sneaky.
Oh, I'll take it.
But wanting to do right by people has been something that I've always known about you. So you are how old now?
I'm 27.
27?
Yeah.
Dang, I'm 10 years older than you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think we always had this because it was there will be things that will come together that we would both know, but then there will be some things that I'm like, oh, maybe that's a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You old. Some things like, girl, no, that's not my time. That's not my time. Well, 9 years. I'm not gonna claim 37 yet.
Listen.
But yeah, so you're 27 now.
Yeah.
You are not a little girl anymore.
I'm not.
You have gone to school, you've moved and moved back, you've started a podcast, you have a career, you've dated, you've lived your life a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
How do you reconcile your mental health, right, in this season of your life?
Yeah, I love that question. I think that's a deep one. So I think I'm like in the process of even just like figuring that out myself. Like I think just recently I was talking to one of my homegirls and I was just like, I need to go back to therapy. I've been to therapy before. Probably like post undergrad was the first time I went to therapy and it was great. I was with my therapist for like 2 years and it's time again, right? Where I'm just like, ooh, life is just feeling sometimes really overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, being a therapist, taking on other people's stuff like every day, like for like a living. I love it. It's great. But at the same time, sometimes I'm like, ooh, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
But I can't really do anything about it,
Mhm.
right? Like, and more so tired, not even like physically, it's like mentally. So I think that's really what it is just making sure like in those moments where I do feel tired, where I feel the burnout, I'm like being honest and saying like, I'm really tired and I need to speak to someone. And talking to friends help too sometimes. But like a lot of times my friends can't give me like what I really need, which is somebody to like, you know, speak to me objectively.
Yeah.
And to just even sometimes help me to see myself.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know that my friends always help me to see myself. Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have like friends that I grew up with. I have some friends that from the church still. Like, but I think the ones that I'm closest to, I feel like they don't always give me like what I need sometimes.
Oh, no.
And I be telling, they know. I be like, girl, okay. but I love them still. You know,
of
like
course,
I love them, and
it's not their job.
Right.
That's
exactly
when we put our friends in the seat of a therapist, that's when we get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because we have an expectation of them that they are not qualified.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, may not even be desirous to give.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah.
Absolutely.
For real. That's real. One of the things I've been chewing on lately is just, and this could be friends, family, whatever, you know, people are not always capable of handling certain parts of you.
Yeah.
You know, I made a post the other day talking about, you know, being grateful when God gives you revelation about a person because it will protect you from trusting them with parts of you that they're not graced to handle.
Ooh, I think that's what
everybody's not graced to handle certain parts of you.
Yeah.
I think around about 27, I started learning.
Yeah.
Because once you start creeping up on them 30s, you start having lots of realizations about the people around you. Doesn't make them bad people. It's just, this is who this person is. Right? And what if you're wise, it took me way longer to accept certain things about certain people than it needed to. But if you're wise, you will accept things and then just move accordingly. Yeah. And that doesn't always mean cutting somebody off or acting funny or whatever. Because when we say, oh, I'm going to move accordingly, that always comes with some like extra shoulders. Yeah. It just could literally mean you are not the person I call when I'm sad.
For sure.
Because you don't handle sad me well.
Yeah.
I got friends who don't handle sad me well. I got family who don't handle sad me well. You know what I mean? They just, you won't be all right, everything, but you're great. But why you did? I know all that, and I'm still sad.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you know, I got people in my life who don't handle, you know, accountability well. So guess what? I will let you be, you know, lack accountability over there.
Yeah.
And we will have a surface level relationship.
Yeah.
Yes. To the level of accountability I can hold you to, that's how I'll handle you. And it'll be great.
Yeah.
You won't even probably know the difference. I will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just really important that's important to know that your friends, you know, are not necessarily giving you what you need. Yeah. And then to not be frustrated by it, but to understand, hey, now I need to step into some things.
Exactly.
You know? I need to step into some things.
Yeah.
As a person who does podcasting, as a person who listens to other people's problems, how are you taking care of you? Like, what are you doing to kind of keep all that afloat?
Yeah.
You said you're going to get back in therapy, but what are you actively doing?
For sure. So
I may or may not be asking for myself. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I love it. I've gotten more physically active, movement, right? Like that's like big for me right now, like just moving. And it may not always look like going to the gym. I like for like a good like maybe like 4 to 5 months I was in the gym like 4 days a week, and
I was seeing you on Instagram.
It felt so good because it was like I wanted to get back, but now I'm like, it's summertime, it's hot, I could just go for a nice walk. I could just, you know, just be outside more, right? Because I think it was just colder, like, you know, so it like being more insular, I think that was contributing to even how I was feeling too. So yeah, just moving my body, and then also being mindful of what I'm eating too, because I think like that, you know, what you put in your body directly affects like sometimes your mood.
Brain,
as soon as you eat, like at least for me, I know sometimes like if I know I'm like, if I eat like fast food, right? Like I'm not gonna lie, I had Wendy's today. Yeah, Wendy's is probably the go-to fast food for me. Like, and I didn't eat all day, so I was like, I gotta eat something just so that I have energy, like a little bit. Yeah. And I felt okay, but there's sometimes where I choose, like, you know, to eat better things, and I just feel more like upbeat, you know, lifted. And then other times I might just choose fast food, a quick thing, and I'm like sluggish. I'm like not a little moody. Like, so I think I'm mindful of like what I'm putting in my body too at the same time, and I notice the difference. I'm taking vitamins. I definitely that's one thing I could say. I'm like a sleepy girl. So like when I'm tired,
I'm going to bed.
I'm going to sleep
immediately.
I'm out. I'm going to sleep.
I was laughing because he literally called me a sleepy girl.
I'm literally, because I need it. Like for if I do not get my like whatever the standard 7 to 9 or whatever, I definitely get it. I might surpass it a little bit. I might go to 10 because like I just
insane.
It is. And then I wake up and I'm still like, wow, that was great. I could sleep some more.
I could take a nap and go right back to sleep 2 hours later easily. I could nap from 4 to 7 and go to sleep at 9:30.
Yes.
Without a problem.
Literally. I feel like that's important. Like to me, that's like self-care. Listening to your body, doing the things that like feel right for you. Of course, not overdoing it or not overkill, but I think there's a balance. Like I have a lot of things to do. So of course I can't sleep all the time. But when I'm tired, I like respect what my body's telling me and I sleep.
And let me tell you something about that. Mm-hmm. It's so funny because not just with sleep, but with a lot of things, right? People don't always understand people like us because they don't operate in that way. Yeah. If I am in a bad mood and you are calling me for something that is non-emergent, I'm not picking up. Mm-hmm. If I'm not going to say yes to things I don't want to do. Right. I'm just not doing it. I spent a long time doing that. And once I finally got through my head that no one saves you from the burnout that it creates, I had to say, I'm saying no with reckless abandon. Yeah. And everybody may not understand it. Yeah. Everybody may not understand why. And this is so real when you are a person who a lot of people talk to. Mm-hmm. When you are in the entertainment / influencer space, when you have a podcast and things like that, people don't understand what it takes to be that person. Yeah. And so because they have no frame of reference on what it takes to do what you do, they may not understand what you have to do to show up that way. Like one of the things I had to explain to somebody in my life is all the things that you love about me happen when I'm alone. Mm. I need more time alone than you think I need. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like you always, yeah. Where do you think the magic happens? Doesn't happen when I'm sitting here talking to you about nothing. Right. And that be the thing. Because people be wanting to chat and it don't be about nothing, dog. Like, nothing. I'm like, yo, I can talk to you about anything. I cannot talk to you about nothing. That's where I be at. Like, you know what I mean? And so it really does take a certain level of rest. Yeah. It takes a certain level of stillness with yourself, with your own thoughts, with your own feelings, processing. And because so many people do not do that. Yeah. I think that's normal because I do it. Mm-hmm. I think I'm not until maybe last year or so did I start realizing, people don't process their feelings. Nope. They just keep living. Yeah. So that's why you can talk to people all day and run and do and da-da-da-da. Because you're not processing your feelings and then you're continuing to live your life in the same cycles. Yeah. Because when you don't process, you can't change. Exactly. I process. For sure. I change. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to listen to a podcast, a sermon. I'm going to talk to a pastor. I'm going to do what I got to do to evolve. Yeah. But everybody ain't like that. For sure. So you really do have to, and it's so funny, Diamond, our mutual friend. Yeah. I was telling her, probably a couple months ago now, just some feelings I was having. And she was like, you are in a season of your life where you just have to be okay with people not understanding. Yeah. You got to be okay with people not understanding if you don't have time to hang out. Not understanding if you don't want to talk on the phone. Not that you have to be outside of your husband. Yeah. You don't owe nobody nothing. Like she had to help me with that because I was feeling guilty and I was feeling but I can't. And she was like, you're in a season of your life where you're just gonna have to be okay with people not understanding. You don't need to over-explain it. Like, you can do what you can do. You can't do what you can't do. Once I finally, I'm still accepting it. Yeah. But once I finally accepted that, I feel like I had a lot more peace. Yeah. About my capabilities. For sure. Because we can only handle so much too, So you were at my wedding. Yes. I sure was. We family, y'all. Like, we not internet friends. Yeah. Mo flew all the way to Atlanta for my wedding, for my bachelorette party. Oh, period. Listen. We're not going to talk about that. All right. I'm tell you, my bachelorette party was so interesting that I didn't even look at the video. People sending me videos, I still haven't watched it. I'm too embarrassed.
Lish was like, absolutely not.
I'm embarrassed. My husband hasn't seen them. I had the time of my life, honey.
Yeah, you had a good time. That's what matters. That's what
beautiful.
matters. Yeah,
You know, it wasn't crazy. It was just the girls. It wasn't no strippers or nothing like that.
Mhm.
But we was turned.
It was a movie for sure. It was a movie.
It was so
I was like, you know what?
And it was so funny because my husband and some of the guys were thinking about coming at one point, and we was like, "Don't come,
Don't come.
don't even
Wow.
need to come."
Yeah.
And you know we old because it was still over by like 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was still
went
over
at, like, 10.
Relatively, yeah.
Get me home.
Yeah.
No, but it was. I drove home and everything, so I wasn't too turned up.
Okay.
But it was. I had a ball.
Good.
And Mo was there.
I was
and
there.
was always supportive,
For
and
sure.
you know, at my bridal shower, just
Yeah.
a staple.
Crying, bawling my
And
eyes out.
I know.
which we was talking about off before we started recording. When I tell y'all, I gotta tell the audience, right? This is my camera roll. I sobbed. I bawled my eyes out at Lish's wedding like I've never cried before. And I was literally telling her this before we started recording. It was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful, like, experience. Like, it wasn't, that's what I can call it. For me, it was an experience. Like, as soon as I got there, literally, like, a wave came over me, and I was like, oh yeah, we're in it. We're in it. We're in it. Okay? We're in it. Shout out to Jimmy. He right here too. Okay? And then I was just crying for like the entire ceremony.
You are not the only person that told me that. You are not the only person that's like, one of my teens, young white boy, shout out to Luke.
Yeah.
He was like, I was bawling. Red face.
Yes.
Like, no, I love that. I think, you know, our wedding was really like us.
Yeah.
Very real, very spiritual.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons people were so moved, and you can tell me how you feel, is I think people really wanted us to find love.
Yeah.
You know, like they were rooting for both of us separately. Because we have so many mutual friends.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Even though we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
And so when we got to it was like, y'all together? Okay. Like, you know. So yeah. But I think one of the reasons you were emotional. Let me put on my mental.
Yes. I
have
here.
no degree at all.
Let me hear it. I'm here for it.
But one of the reasons that I think you were emotional is because I think that deep down inside, you really are longing for a deep connection with someone.
Oh my gosh, don't make me cry. Stop.
I know you well.
Don't make me cry.
And so I think seeing it, because I think you try to suppress it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like most Black women.
For sure.
It's like, I'm okay. It's,
Yeah.
It'll come if it comes, you know. But I think seeing it with somebody who you know to be single for so long. You know, because you've known me, what, for like
forever.
10, 15, something before I got married. So you saw me go through, because I got married at 35, full adulthood, single.
Yeah.
You know? And so to see like, man, okay, it's happening for her after all this time.
Yeah.
I think it pricked you. But am I right?
Ooh. Ooh. I think you might be a little right.
Okay.
Like, I think it was like, I don't know. I don't know if prick is the word though.
Okay.
It was definitely, for me, I think it was, there's definitely a longing there for sure. So let's start there. Let's start from that first part. There's definitely a longing there for like real connection. Because I feel like I'm dating. Like that's not a mystery. Well, actually I'm not dating right now, but I have dated and it's just been so trash and like terrible that I'm like, wow, this can't be it.
Have you tried Haitian men?
Ooh, absolutely not.
My man is Haitian. That's the way to go.
Shout out to Jimmy. Because he's a good. And for those of you guys who don't know, I'm Haitian. I'm half Haitian.
Yeah, I know.
I'm half Haitian. So I got cousins. My father is a Haitian.
You have to get a Haitian American. Don't get the one in Haiti with two families you don't know about.
That's what I'm like. No shade. But there's truth to that, right? I just feel like, like for some reason I've always been like opposed to Haitian men.
Women always say that.
I'd be like, absolutely, like why would I put myself through that? And I'm half Haitian, half Jamaican. If I had to choose, I'm going with the Jamaican. That's a fact.
Really?
Yes. But I would prefer maybe neither. because they're both kind of like crazy and similar. But Jimmy's great. Jimmy is great. So he's not. But yeah, there are some Haitian men that I know that are good guys though. Like my cousins are some of them. They're married. They're in like long-term relationships and they aren't cheaters from what I know. But I think that
I'd be on a campaign for Black women to be loved by Haitian men.
Really? Haitian men are very much so like
lover boys.
Yes, lover boys, hopeless romantics. So for sure, like I think like there's some goodness there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with being at the wedding, I think it was more so like inspiring. It was really inspiring. I was definitely like, yeah, I think it did make me like reflect. I feel like whenever I'm with you, I'm always reflecting about
you always say that
and my life, and I'm just like, Lish, I'm so tired. I'm tired. Like I don't want to cry every time I'm with you. This is crazy. But it does. Like I think just being a part of that experience did make me think and like reflect and be like, okay, you got some work to do. Like, cause I think that's the thing too. Like a part of me with like dating and stuff and wanting a connection, I know like I'm not gonna settle. Right. And I think that's a part of it. I think, you know, I even just watching you didn't settle. Right. Like there were, you know, like you dated people in the past and it was just like, all right, this isn't it. Even if it was difficult, maybe to like leave something like you know, and I feel like I resonate with that. Like I'd be quick to be like, all right. I'm like maybe two strike pony. Like we tried it didn't work. Give you one more try.
Right.
But it'd be hard sometimes, like especially if because there's times guys that I've dated that I really liked, and I was like, this could work. But then for some reason it just there was something that I was like, I can't get jiggy with
past this.
I can't get past this, or I think I've just been wired to not settle. Like in any area, like.
Period.
That's just not who I am. But it'd be hard because it's like, how long am I supposed to, like, how long am I going to be?
Oh, I can answer that for you. Keep not settling.
Right.
I like, seriously, it is 1,000,000% worth it.
Yeah.
And let me say this, it's worth it even if you don't find the person.
Yeah.
Because when you settle for less than you deserve, you always get less than what you settled for. That's a fact. When you settle for less than you deserve, you settle for someone who you love holidays, but they don't really like holidays. Ooh. So you're like, well, okay, Christmas is just a day, Valentine's Day is just a day.
Yeah.
They don't really like it. But then you realize you never get acknowledged for anything. It's you have to figure out what you care about in a person's character.
Yeah.
And you can't settle on certain things because once you're in, let me tell you something, as a newlywed, once you're in this thing, you know, people don't realize you will be married to the person you married.
Yeah.
They don't realize that. They think the person's going to change all of a sudden. I am married to the man I married.
Yeah.
There will be things that he will work on. There will be things that I will work on. But at the end of the day, I love who he is. Yeah. So it works. Even when there's things I'm like, oh, I don't understand that or whatever. Yeah. It works because I married the person I wanted to be married to.
Yeah.
So many people don't marry the person they want to be married to. They marry the potential of what the person can be.
For sure.
Or what the person can do for them or whatever the case may be. And that's a form of settling. Sometimes people think settling is something beneath you. Sometimes you can settle for somebody and they can be above you. They can be, you know, have money or do whatever, but you're still settling because they're not willing to do the things you need to feel loved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when you say, how long am I supposed to keep doing it until the right person comes along.
Yeah.
You know, because what I've realized is who you're looking for is looking for you.
Ooh, I love that.
Who you are looking for is looking for you. And baby, when you come together, it's unstoppable. Yeah. Truly. Yeah. Like
yeah.
And you know my story. It's just like it didn't make no sense until it made all the sense in the world.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I really do believe that, you know, because neither one of us settled, we're able to now enjoy what I really feel like is a blissful marriage, you know. It's still early, but I really do believe that it'll continue to be blissful for the rest of our lives.
I think so.
And
too.
so if I could tell you anything is don't settle.
Yeah.
And you don't always have to like it. Yeah. Like, I think sometimes culture tries to push you like, I love being single. I'm da-da-da-da-da-da. There were plenty of times where I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I'm tired of paying bills. I'm tired of carrying my own groceries. I'm tired of not having somebody who understands,
Yeah.
you know, that sometimes I just need a hug.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm strong, but I also need to be able to be vulnerable. Like that was whack sometimes.
Yeah.
And so and thank God for my friends. I had a lot of friends who let me feel what I was feeling and didn't try to make me, you know, they had their times where they were like, now come on, girl.
Yeah.
Cherish your life, you know, but also they let me feel what I was feeling. And so I think that helps as well.
Good.
Yeah, I think that helps as well. And I also think for you, I think it's going to be really important that you, and we can edit this out if you feel like it's whatever, but that you allow yourself to be loved and seen.
I'm about to cry.
You have a New York girl guard.
For sure.
We all have it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And right before I met my husband, I remember telling, I may have told you this already in private, but I remember telling Diamond, and I think I told my sister, I was like, I'm ready to share my intentions. Like, I lived so much of my 20s and early 30s, like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and if anyone's gonna be in my life, they gotta get with this.
Yeah.
They gotta like this, they gotta dress like this, they gotta da-da-da-da-da. And I was putting myself in a cage.
Right.
And it was holding me hostage to a specific person.
Ooh. Ooh.
It was holding me hostage to a specific person because we had all this chemistry and history and and once I finally let that go, literally God brought this man into my life.
Wow.
You know, and really showed me that whole situation was never for me. You know what I mean? But because I was so guarded, and that was the only person who fit all the, and mind you, in hindsight, ain't fit all the nothing.
Right.
But in that time, well, they fit these boxes. You know, I had to kind of let it down. So I want you to allow yourself to be loved. It may look different.
Yeah.
We're saying so much that we're not saying right now.
For sure. I'm with you. I'm following, for sure.
It may look different than you think.
Yeah.
But you got to let it happen.
Yeah.
You know, you have a lot to give. And, you know, whoever ends up with you is going to be very blessed. Very, very lucky.
Aww.
Very, very lucky. So you recently moved to Philly.
Yeah.
And then you moved back.
I moved back.
Tell us that situation.
Ooh, let's get into it.
Because when you first moved to Philly, I thought it was for a man. I'm not going to hold you. I'm like, what is she doing in Philly?
You know what's crazy? Everyone said that.
Yeah, because why Philly?
A lot of people said that. And I'm like, what man? I wish I wish I could say, like, yes, there was someone that I was moving for. But there's no one. But no, I moved by myself.
Okay.
So I was looking in Jersey first. I feel like most New Yorkers, when they trying to branch out,
elevate,
they go to Jersey, right? So Jersey was, you know, that's kind of the storyline. First it was Jersey. I was looking. I didn't see anything in Jersey that I liked. I'm not even really a fan of Jersey like that. Like, I have cousins that live out there.
We love you, Jersey.
Right. Shout out to Jersey.
Shout out to Jersey.
But
shout out to Jersey.
Yeah. So like I had you know, I checked Jersey first, didn't see anything. And then my mom, she has a friend that lives in Philly who's a part of you know, the church that we grew up going to. So she was like, oh, what about Philly? Like, there's somebody there that I know. So at least, you know, if you were to move out there, you have someone.
Somebody look out for you.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll check Jersey. I mean, check Philly and see, you know. So my mom was looking, I was looking, and she found something. And I was like, oh, it looks cool. Let's go look at it. We went to go look at it. I loved it. And I was like, let's do it. And it was cool. Like, I can't lie. My experience initially was really great. I was very independent on my own, cooking, doing my own grocery shopping, like paying rent now, utilities, all of that stuff. And it was good. But then after a while, and I was traveling back and forth a lot from Philly to New York. And like, I was just getting really homesick. I was like, ooh. I was like, when it was time to go back, I was sad. I was like, ooh. But then my cousin, she was like, you have to just stay out there. Don't keep coming back. And that's how you're going to get used to it. Yeah. But then I was recording my podcast here as well. And I was like, I don't see myself
Finding a whole new situation.
A new studio? That's crazy. But there's studios out there.
Wolf brought you back.
Literally. I'm like, I'm sorry. My go-to engineer, Wolf, the whole staff here, like they all are great. And I'm just like, I'm supposed to do what now? Find new people in Philly? And then I couldn't even get used to the accents out there. I was like, this is crazy. Shout out to Philly. I love Philly. The accents are so like rich. Yeah. Like you can't, you know a Philly.
I love Philly.
Yes.
I love Philly. Philly is fun.
I like Philly. I'm not going to knock Philly at all, but it is different. That's one thing I could say. The people are different. The environment is different. Yeah. Gun laws are different out there. So sometimes I was outside walking around just making sure I was extra, safe. But overall, my experience there was good. I think, I just felt like I wasn't 100%, I guess, happy maybe.
Got you.
Like I felt like it was cool, but I was like, I don't know if I want to stay here long term. But then, I mean, the real reason that pushed me to come back was work. There was some mix up with work and like the taxes in Philly versus the taxes here in New York. Gotcha. And, I'm working at a private practice, so it got a little tricky. And then once that came into the mix after I was already having these thoughts, I was like, oh, that's God telling me to come. Yeah, I was literally like, that's God. That's a sign. You got to go. Right. And then it kind of was just rapid fire after that. And I was back and I was like, but it's still kind of bittersweet. Being back, I've been here now maybe for like 2 weeks. And it's there's some moments where I'm like, oh, I miss having my own place. Because now I'm back home. I'm with my mom. I'm around all my peoples. But it's like, ain't nothing really different here. This is the same. But I feel a little different for some reason. Like going away, even though it was like for 6 months. I feel different coming back. Like I'm a little bit more focused. Like sometimes I'm more structured. Like, and that's another thing too. Like I feel like I go out. I'm a go out type of girl. I'm a party girl.
Outside.
But like when I moved to Philly, I wasn't going out. I wasn't going out. Like, I feel like even that's the thing too. Like I feel like maybe the past couple of years, and it could be from the pandemic. Like I was like drinking more and like I was just like, I was smoking hookah. Y'all know, because y'all didn't see it on my Instagram. I was drinking more. I was smoking hookah. It was just doing a lot of things that I'm like,
this ain't really me.
This not really me. And this is also not fulfilling me in any way. It's not doing anything positive for my life necessarily. And that was a part of the reason why I moved away. Like, because I felt like I needed to structure up a little bit. Like I felt like, I was getting maybe a little bit too comfortable and relaxed. And I feel like moving to Philly helped with that, for me to just be like, you don't got to do all of that.
Yeah.
Like you're fine, right? Yeah. Like you have a lot of great things going on. And don't get me wrong, I still drink, but it's way less.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just like, even with hookah, I'm like, that's trash. That is bad for you.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it?
Yes, hookah's bad for you.
It's bad for you.
I tell people this all the time.
Right.
I'm not a smoker of anything because my voice is my instrument.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Yes. Period.
I'm not smoking nothing.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. And hookah, people for the most part would say like hookah's not bad for you, but it doesn't do it. Like I don't know that you're high per se, but it gives you whatever the buzz, the light feeling when you're in the party mood. But I feel like for me, I just did that for like, literally, I think it started in the pandemic because we was like, oh, life is over. It was like, might as well. We was like, life is over for us. So for me,
it could end any day.
For me, it was a thing like, all right, like my backyard, like I would have little kickbacks in my backyard because people couldn't really.
He was a super spreader.
Listen. I had let people know, like, we outside with it. Maybe we could social distance a little bit. Make sure you keep your cup and don't share nothing. Yeah. We tried to make it work. And I think that's where it started. Like just certain habits, just picking up certain habits because there was more free time. And then it kind of just carried on. But I think now I'm in a place where I'm like, you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And not get too caught up in these things that don't really fulfill you. Like, it's oil and water. You got this going on over here, but then you doing this on the weekends. Like, let's really get it together.
Yeah. And I think too, for real. And I think I always tell people, every adult should leave their hometown.
Yeah.
For some time.
Yeah.
If you go back, you go back. I might end up back in New York one day. I don't know.
Yeah.
But moving to Atlanta was the best thing I ever did for myself, for my growth as a person.
Yeah.
And that could have probably been anywhere. I just needed to leave New York.
Yeah.
To grow a little bit. And I think that, again, it could be 6 months, it could be whatever, but you do need to experience how other people, it opens your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To the fact that things could be a different way, that it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that that's a really important thing. And I think it does refocus you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I think you do start to realize like, oh, okay, I need to start doing these things differently.
Yeah.
And working on yourself is, you know, the best thing you could ever do. You know what I mean? Because you are with you all the time.
Yeah.
When you get married, have kids, whatever, none of those people will be with you all the time.
Yeah.
You are the only one with you all the time. So I take self-work. I might take self-work too seriously because I'm going to work on myself all the time.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, all right, girl, give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
But I'll be working on myself.
Yeah.
Because I want to not even so much be the best version of myself, but I want to be someone who I like being with.
Yeah. For sure. I love that.
You know what I mean? Like,
Same.
if I would dismiss a friend who acted the way I'm acting, then I need to change it. If I wouldn't be friends with someone who speaks the way I'm speaking, then I need to change it.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, and so I'm very serious about that. And I think just leaving your hometown, like I said, even if you come back, it helps you kind of center.
Okay.
But the podcast.
Yes.
So you've been doing the podcast since before the pandemic.
Yes.
You were doing podcasting has become increasingly popular.
Yeah.
And I felt like you got in somewhat on the, not the ground level, but the more ground level than everybody who started during the pandemic.
For sure.
And so what are some of the lessons, and you can even share some of the stuff you shared with me, but what are some of the lessons that you've learned and advice you would give to people who want to pod?
Yeah, I love that question. I think for me, one of the lessons that I learned was it doesn't have to be perfect starting out, right? Because for me, I was very like in the beginning, how I show up now on the podcast is completely different than how I was showing up before. I was over here like thinking everything had to be a certain way. And now I'm just laid back. I'm like, yep, we here, we on. Like sometimes I may not even feel fully myself, but as long as the basic things are put together, I'm cool.
Yeah.
So I think for me the lesson was like it doesn't have like perfection it doesn't exist.
Yep.
So you know, as long as you, and then in the beginning too, I was like very much so like just very like just planning everything out. And it's like, no, like sometimes you could just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Like that was something that I had to learn. And that if it didn't go the way that I had planned on it going, that's okay.
It's okay.
That's a part of the process. So for me, that was like a big lesson that I learned. But I think it took me time to like really grasp that, conceptualize it, and then like in action, like let it play out, right? And then be okay with it. So yeah, that was one of the things. And then I guess maybe like what I would just tell anybody who's interested is you just need the basic things, right? Like you don't have to necessarily, because I feel like when they see us potting, they like, ooh,
I gotta do that.
I want to do that. And it's like you can.
Yeah.
Granted, you can. If you have the means, the funds, you could do it. But I think for me, I didn't start out here.
Yeah.
I was very much so like I bought some equipment from the electronics store, and I was recording. At first, my podcast was just audio, because I think a lot of people don't realize that like podcast is audio based.
Yes.
And then that
you get most of your listens from downloads.
Yeah. And
you could be a very, very popular podcast in download and not on YouTube.
Exactly.
I get more downloads than I get views.
Same here. Because I started my YouTube, maybe, was it like last year or 2 years ago?
Yeah. I don't even have a separate YouTube child. We all on the same channel. Yeah. My stuff, my music, my talking.
Yeah.
We ain't going to separate it until it makes sense to separate
it makes sense. For sure. That's why I'm like, yeah. And I feel like the visual part of things too became more popular recently. Yeah. So that's where it's like, for me, audio, I was an audio girl. I love the audio part of it. For those of you who don't know, I interned at a radio station for like a year and change. Like I was doing the
She did the work, honey.
I did the like. That's why I'm like, yeah, I really did. Yeah. Like my minor was
up yourself.
my minor was media and communications, which a lot of people don't know. So I did like, you know, I took courses at the radio station on campus, and then when I graduated, I interned at a radio station for like a year and was doing a lot of like production stuff. So like I was just really into audio. Like I wasn't necessarily like into the visual part of it.
Yeah.
So that took me some getting used to. But yeah, as far as like just starting a podcast, sometimes I think doing it like that may be easier for some people, or maybe even more digestible. Like you don't have to necessarily be seen right away.
Yeah.
You can like, you know, grow into that. And for me, that was my process, where I started off super audio. I love the audio part. I could show up looking crazy and just talk about whatever.
Whatever, yeah.
But now this actually takes more planning because you have to make sure you look the part
Yeah.
and, getting the guests and all of the things. So I think for me, the visual part of it is cool because, it does take more effort and work. And it's like, are you going to keep showing up? Are you going to keep doing the things?
Yeah. Are you going to budget so that you have the money to pay for it?
Exactly. Yeah. Pay for the studio time. And for those who don't have the budget per se, you don't need it. You can just get you
can use your phone.
Use your phone. Use a little, if you want to get a recorder and do it that way and use a USB drive and upload it that way. I did my podcast through Zoom as well. And that was and Zoom has this feature, or I don't know if they probably upgraded it now because they had it back then where they would separate the audio and the visual for you so that you could upload the audio separately. Yeah. So that's what I was doing.
That's how we did one of ours.
Yeah. So that's where there's so many things that you can do.
Yeah.
It doesn't just have to look one. I think the way that everybody's seeing it now with social media is it looks one way.
Yeah.
And it's please don't, because then you're going to get to episode 5 and you're going to be tired.
Yep.
So that's why I'm
run out of money.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. And one of the things too that I tell people about podcasting, but also influencing and all this stuff is don't overthink it, but think it.
Yeah.
Don't think you're just going to be able to start and just go. I really did plan.
Yeah.
What was best for me, and I still try to plan what is best for me. For me, batch recording is best. I don't have the schedule where I can sit down and record a podcast every week. Now, maybe one day I will get to that place.
Yeah.
But I need to batch record.
Yeah.
And even with my content, I need to batch record.
Yes.
So that on Tuesday, when I'm tired and don't feel like doing nothing, all I got to do is upload a video that's already in my phone because I did 6 pieces of content on Saturday when I did feel like something, when my makeup was on.
Yeah.
Half the time I post stuff and I'm laying in the bed rusty and crusty, honey. Well, not too rusty and crusty because I got a husband. But, regular, very regular, what I call ugly in peace. My husband hates when I say that, but I'm like, let me just be ugly in peace. Get the makeup, the lashes off, But I'm posting a video looking like I look because I did the batch content. And I think we're at a place where people understand that. They know that, it is what it is. No one really cares when you recorded it or
Yes.
But you also have to know yourself, right? You have to know if you're going to get up every morning and make a motivational video in your car on your way to work. That's some people's whole brand, and they do it well.
Yeah.
Right? And so, but you have to know that about yourself. You have to know. One of the things I'm learning right now, shameless plug, I'm about to start doing vlogs and all that stuff on my YouTube.
Yes.
What I have learned about myself is I am not good at editing. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
Now, I am going to get good at it.
Yeah.
But don't be surprised if in the very near future I have an editor.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we need to do what we do best and outsource the rest. It is, if you can afford it. And let me tell you this, if you have the newest kicks and an iPhone and a this and a that, you can't afford it.
For sure.
It's about what you prioritize.
Yes.
And you probably have a friend. Everybody wanted to be a rapper for the last 10 years. Yeah. Somebody got a amp. Somebody got a mic. Somebody got the new iPhone 15. Somebody in your circle has these things. And when people see you working hard, they want to show up for you.
For sure.
They want to support you. When you talking and not working, that's when you get a hard time people supporting you. But when people see you doing your thing, they'll be like, yeah, I'll bring my mic through. Yeah, I'll bring my camera through. Yeah, I've offered so many people in my life, hey, let me know when you're ready. We got a camera. We got mics. If you want to come and do some content, I'm here. I live here. You can come. Ask me how many people I've taken up on offer. Those people are not serious. But
hello, that part.
I've offered it, to people who I believe in. And I think that, when you show up for yourself, people start to show up for you. What is your vision for your mental matters? You've been doing it for 4+ years. You've had some high profile guests. You've done some great things. Yeah. What's your vision for it moving forward?
Love that question. Honestly, my vision is, and that's the way that my brain works, is I can only maybe think short term.
Okay.
Because I feel once I start to think I could think ahead, but then it's sometimes it feels out of reach. So I think for me, I like to just envision what feels more like something I could grasp and more realistic. So for me, I think I like to do the short term goal thing, and vision thing. And for me, if I'm being fully transparent, I don't even have a clear end goal. I think for me, like even with starting the podcast, it was really just starting it out to just raise awareness, right? And to continue to, you know, just destigmatize mental health. So I didn't even really think like long term, but I think because it grew, like so many people gravitated towards it, and I didn't really expect it either. I'm telling you, starting out, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Does this even make sense really? Like who's gonna listen? And I was wrong or just surprised. Like people were listening even when it was at the baby stages and like reaching out and saying, oh, like, thank you. And I'm like, what? So I think for me now it's just like, okay, continuing to just expand and grow. Like I guess one of my like visions that I have that I can say like more like short term in the near future is to just get more just advertising and like sponsorships and stuff because I do have a little bit like the podcast does have like automatic ads now that because of the downloads and analytics has grown. Now the podcast does have automatic ads through audio. So like if you say anybody goes to like Spotify or Apple and listens to it, you may just hear like a random ad in there, right? And that came from just the growth. And so for me, that was like, okay, cool. Like once I got there, I was like, so we can go bigger now, right? And now we can get like monetization. Now we could really see some, but the automatic ads, you don't really, it's a little bit of money. It's a little coin, but it's not anything like substantial. But to me, that was like a milestone for me. I was like, okay, cool. This is motivation to keep going because then it'll grow, it'll get bigger.
Right.
And then there's another opportunity that presented itself. I'm like, I don't know if I should say this on camera or off camera. Cause I feel like giving, I'm like, should I give all the game? Cause I be over here like, let me tell you. But then sometimes it's like, I don't know.
Protect your blessings and your peace.
Yes. I'm going to tell you off.
Tell me.
Yes. I'm going to tell you off for sure. I'm going to tell you. We here with it.
No, I love that. And I think, you know, I want to encourage you. Again, like I said, you encouraged me so much to start my podcast. I think that what you are doing, the consistency with which you do it is something to be celebrated. I think
thank you.
Focusing in on mental health and not just being trendy about it or when it's this or that, but really focusing in on it. And allowing particularly Black men, which is Black Men's Mental Health Awareness Month right now. By the time y'all see this, it won't be. But but you know, particularly letting them, you know, have the floor and have the seat to do that. And creating that safe space is amazing. I could talk to Mo forever, y'all, but tell the people where to find you and where to find the podcast.
Yes. So you can find me at my personal page _Mo Lou, MOLOU, and the podcast page, Your Mental Matters Podcast, on Instagram, all platforms really.
Yeah, we'll have all this stuff tagged below. Incredible podcast, great podcaster, someone y'all should definitely follow and know. And once again, you guys have seen another episode, have sat through another episode of I'll Just Let Myself In with your girl Lish Speaks. It is really my pleasure to bring you quality guests and people who really add value to the space that we're in. Y'all already know the drill. If you loved what you saw, please go ahead and like, share, subscribe, follow, give us a review. Tell a friend to tell a friend about this podcast. We really are helping people let themselves into their God-given doors and abilities. Y'all already know the drill. Same time, same place next week. I'll Just Let Myself In with your girl Lish Speaks. Peace. So have a great day.